Dan Larson here at the photo booth with a project I've been wanting to do for a while now. Anybody that's known me for more than 5 minutes knows that I'm a big fan of Warduke from the old LJN Advanced Dungeons & Dragons line of action figures from back in 84, 83, whatever it was. This is obviously not that figure. This is the modern NECA Ultimates, Ultimate Warduke 7-inch action figure. Came out right at the beginning of this year, 2023, and is a full-on lead contender for action figure of the year for my personal top 10. It's gorgeous. I love it. It's an amazing update to the original action figure, which unfortunately I did not grab one to compare here. Just Google it. Or look up one of our videos. We've definitely got a video or two on Warduke. The project I've been wanting to do for a while now. This is a gorgeous action figure. Like I said, it's a top contender for the action figure of the year for me. Everything I could have possibly dreamed that a new update to Warduke would be. I don't even care that it's 7-inch scale as opposed to 6-inch scale. Beautiful sculpt, beautiful paint, all the interpretations, the things that make it feel like the original action figure are great. The things that make it feel new and fresh are fantastic. His awesome shield, he's got alternate hands, his sword, the flaming effect, all those things. I love this action figure. One of the things I hate about this action figure, and this is nothing against NECA, nothing against the sculpt, the team that put it together, designers, all that stuff. And maybe this doesn't even bug a lot of people. I don't know. This is just me, and this is something I got to deal with. My number one action figure pet peeve is when figures can't put their arms down by their side when they're just standing in a neutral, relaxed position, which is commonly how they stand on my shelf. Not doing much. I'm not like an action pose displayer on my shelves. My shelves are more just there to sort of be the like library of action figures that I own. I don't even display everything that I own all the time. So I'm not looking for, when this guy is posed and is an action shot, he's got a sword out and he's slashing, whatever. That doesn't bother me. But this is as far down as I can get, and I assume your figure is the same way if you have this one. This is as far down as I can get his arms by his side to just stand there in a relaxed, neutral position. And you can see that the blue armored arm is worse than the regular flesh arm here on the right. But even that one's not great. And to give you an example of what I'm talking about here, Boba Fett here, Hasbro Black Series Boba Fett. This is the deluxe Return of the Jedi version. Even with all this armor and sleeves and gear and stuff and things and whatever, his arms can hang pretty close to his side. And for my personal preferences, I don't mind if it doesn't get the exact physique and look of the character correct. I prefer that it have the ability to actually let those arms hang naturally. Now, I know that when you're a buff dude, you have other muscles and stuff. You get these lats and stuff on the inside. The triceps are bigger and whatever. And that doesn't affect actual human physiology because those things are soft and squishy. And so you get that compression as the arms can push against the side. It's limited in action figure form. At some point, you have to make some sacrifices. Different action figure designers, different companies, different sculptors prioritize different things, right? And so in some cases, like with Warduke here, a lot of the prioritization was put on making this thing look good and the detail of the sculpt, as opposed to it being the most posable action figure on the planet. And I don't have a problem with that. Would I prefer a little bit more crunch than... Well, there's barely any crunch here. Would I prefer a little bit more crunch? Of course I would. I would love this dude to be able to, crunch over and, get in all kinds of crazy action poses. But it's so gorgeous. I'm going to let that slide. Would I have preferred double jointed elbows, double jointed knees? Of course, but whatever. The number one thing I have to fix on this is being able to, like I said, the right arm doesn't bother me as much. It's that left arm that needs to be able to hang. He's holding his arm out like it's pinching his armpit hairs. I don't like that. So normally when I pose him, I've got his sword in his hand and I'll bend his elbow, and it's out to his side so that he's like holding up his sword. But I just want him to be able to drape that arm down a little bit more. And so what I'm looking at here is the shape of this is going to be real hard to see. The shape of this piece of the bicep, I'm gonna have to heat this up and pop this arm off, and I'll be able to get you a better look at it. In fact, let's take a pause here. Well, I'll show you this here first. So the shape, oh, this sheath just wants to come off. It kind of flares out as it hits the top of this arm piece to make for a nice smooth transition. So this armor looks less broken up by the, by the individual pieces. But I'm not concerned about hiding that. Like, it's an action figure. It doesn't actually need to be seamless and look like a real guy. You can see it here, like the knee looks fantastic. It's like almost hidden. You don't even see the seam for the most part. But I don't care about that. I know it's an action figure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat up this joint here. I'm gonna pop the bicep off, and then I'm gonna Dremel down. I'm gonna see if I can Dremel down some of this flare on the inside here, because that's the piece that's contacting his rib cage underneath that's not allowing it to go any further. Like, there's actually a gap in here where the shoulder joint plugs into the torso. And so I just wanna shave this down just a bit, like not even 1/8 of an inch, just carve it off a little bit on the inside there. And I think we'll be able to get that arm a bit more naturally by his side. Any degree to which I can get that closer to his side will be considered a victory for me in this action figure. And hey, you know what? If this thing just goes sideways and I totally mess it up, hey, no big deal. I've got another one on hand, so I'll still have a piece on my shelf. All right, let's heat this arm up and pop it off and see what we can do. So this is the piece here that I was talking about. We just need to knock this ridge. This ridge right here on the inside is what's contacting the inside of the rib cage here. And that's where we just need to make a little bit more space, because there's enough of clearance in here that I think we can at least get it just a little bit closer, and then I'll be just a little bit happier with it. All right, let's get the Dremel out. Always be safe, guys. So I was using the Dremel, and it wasn't actually giving me the results that I wanted to. So I just switched to this straight knife, this X-Acto knife here, and I'm just carving away the bits that I don't want, trying to get it a little closer, make a little bit more of a ridge here. I'm not going so far into the actual joint here that it's going to affect the stability of that joint. The only issue is going to be that you'll be able to see the cut, because the plastic, the blue of the plastic, especially once you start to cut some of it away, isn't the set. You can't see any of this. Isn't going to have that same sort of metallic sheen that the scales do. But again, we're on the inside of the arm, so you shouldn't even be able to see it. That might. Oh, look at that! It just pops. I don't even think I have to heat this back up. That might be. Oh gosh, yes. Oh yeah. Oh no, that's not it. Nope. Needs to be a little bit. Needs to be more. No, that's not where I want to be. That's still too far out. We might, oh man, I was really hoping that was going to be enough to get it closer. But it's this muscle here. I don't know if that's the latissimus dorsi. It's that back muscle there that sort of comes around. I don't know if we're actually going to be able to get it any closer than that. That stinks. Like, I can carve into the bicep and the tricep, but I just don't know that that's actually going to get me, because then you're just starting to cut away material from the arm itself, and that might actually start to affect the structural stability of the arm. And the shoulder joint, let's pop this back off. The shoulder joint definitely. Oh, is part of it the shoulder joint? Nope, that shoulder joint can get really, really, really close to the body. It can get much closer than this arm is letting it. So yeah, we're either gonna have to make a decision here: cut more into the arm or cut off some of this this back muscle here. to get into it. Tough call. It's so frustrating. It's just such a weird angle. The joint sits so far in his body that it's almost like the pin needs to be longer for it to stick out more, to give it a better angle to hang down. Huh. All right, well, let's see if we can carve this up a little bit more. Take it back over the booth and see what it looks like. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got here. I am very happy with the results. On the left is my safety Warduke, my second Warduke, that I would still have in fresh out of the box condition. Should everything have gone wrong with the one on the right, my attempted customization here. So this is on the left is the unmodified. I just opened it right out of the box. I didn't even take the accessories out of the package yet. That's the unmodified Warduke on the left, the customized version on the right that I just cut up a little bit here. And so what I did ultimately was I did trim a little bit off the inside of that flare outward at the top of the bicep, but I also found that it made a huge difference to cut away just a little bit of that lat muscle on the side. And that actually was okay because this flesh-colored plastic is actually almost the same color as it is painted. There's just a slight bit of color variation there due to whatever paint or wash happens to be on it. But the inside of that rib cage area there, the whole point of cutting it down was so that I could have his arm hanging down by his side. So I don't know that you're ever even going to see, I'm not going to take a picture or anything of him with his arm up in the air. Now that I've got both of these open, if I want to take the action photos that you might end up seeing the inside of his bicep or his rib cage, I'll use this one. If I just want to have him sort of standing in a relaxed pose with his sword down by his side, I'll use this one. Two other minor complaints. So I don't mind, this one is flaring out a little bit more, and now that I'm like, ooh, this one's hanging down a lot nicer, this one seems like it's the one that's flaring out a little bit too far. I don't mind that as much because that's the heavy shield arm, and I'm never going to display this dude without his giant shield. So I can chalk that up to either the weight of the shield or, Jesus, the shield is so big it covers up most of his arm and body anyway. But for that sword hand, yeah, my only other complaint would be that this wrist joint is an in-out joint and it's not an up-down joint. Because I would love to be able to turn this wrist this way so that the sword is pointing more down at the ground. But I am, for something that I was really hesitant to do, I love this figure so much, I really was afraid to modify it, even with a backup on hand. What if there was a tragedy? What if something awful happened to that? I always wanted to have a backup on this. But you know what? I'm very pleased with the way this came out. This will be my shelf. This will be my photography one if I need it. This will be the one that I just mess around with when I'm sitting at my desk, and standing on my desk because I'd like to have it in a relaxed position with his arm down by his side. So I would call this successful surgery. I'm very happy that I did finally take a few minutes to attempt this and that it came out the way it did. Thank you for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who are. If you aren't already a subscriber of our regular channel, Secret Galaxy, please go check that out. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any other suggestions for other ways I could have approached this, or if if you think I should attempt the other arm. I'm probably going to. I probably will try the other arm. I need a relaxed Warduke. He's an evil warrior, but I also want him to be relaxed. Anyway, thanks for watching. Later.